JJ Buck.
We wake you up this morning after some football. One terrific ending. The rest of it quite anticlimactic. With some breaking news in college athletics and breaking news that I don't know was a surprise to you, but certainly will now impact you because what's next? The ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. That is Clemson and Florida State and Syracuse and Pittsburgh and Virginia and, those schools. They voted this morning to admit Stanford, Cal, and SMU. It'll bring the league to 18 members. 17 will play football full-time in the league. Notre Dame was the other that doesn't play football. So the ACC has voted to admit Cal, Stanford, and SMU. We'll get into some of the details. Good morning to you. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC. Happy Friday. Happy September. Happy football season. How you living?
What it do?
I mean, it's like a cake-worthy day, isn't it?
Cake-worthy?
I mean, like a half-eaten cake-worthy day?
At least half.
That dude just talks a lot. I mean, he brought the half-eaten. Well, he's brought in cake since then. He has actually brought cake. Surprised? I'm not. I thought this is where this was trending on the ACC. And next move is Oregon State, Washington State, and now Mountain West, you're up.
Yeah, Mountain West, American Athletic Conference, just trying to get numbers at this point in time. It's about having teams to survive if something else were to happen. And that is one of the things that pushed the ACC to get this done, so they didn't drop towards the threshold of below 15 teams in their conference, which would have allowed their television partner, the ESPN, to renegotiate and then take money away from them. So they add these three schools, have this crazy, this is now the American Athletic Conference.
It is America. It goes from Philly to California. Yep, coast to coast. But it's the ACC. So what happens now to the Mountain West? And can they convince Washington State and Oregon State that the best move for those two schools is to join the Mountain West and not the AAC, the American? Mike Oresco, the American Athletic Conference commissioner, is aggressive. He's been out to Pullman and Corvallis, as has Gloria Nevares, the Mountain West Conference commissioner, and Garnett Stokes, the UNM president, who is the head of the board for the Mountain West. The AAC has a TV contract with ESPN. The Mountain West has a TV contract with CBS and Fox. It's up in 2 years. And what is it going to mean? Because it will be about money. And I think JJ, the biggest fear for people around here, and a legitimate fear, is, does it splinter? Right? Is there a way where somehow they fly under the Pac-12 banner, where it's Oregon State and Washington State? And there's been a lot of talk of this, where then San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, UNLV, Fresno, and then they take Tulane and whatever the mix is of schools, Tulane, Memphis, Rice, UTSA, and then you're left behind again. And that, I think that's the big fear. If those two schools join the American, would the American then come after San Diego State and Colorado
Sure they would.
And they will.
And at this point in time, if you offer someone $1.50 more, they're in.
That's right. So this is happening this morning. It came down at 6:04, so about an hour ago now is when it happened. The presidents and chancellors of the ACC voted. I don't know who the swing votes were. I guess it was North Carolina State. Randy Woodson's their chancellor. And North Carolina's Board of Trustees issued a statement to voice their objection to the addition. And the move perceived around the ACC was political, but it looks like NC State was the vote. So that's a big deal. And there's more money coming in. There's a clause in ESPN's deal. When you add more teams, there's more money. And essentially, I believe the spirit of that was because if Notre Dame came in. This isn't really what it was meant to be.
Nope.
But here's where we are. All right. Did you watch the footy last night? You guys, I mean, you guys don't have DirecTV, so you got the end of the Nebraska-Minnesota game?
Absolutely.
All right, I found it online. I had to go online. I was watching the end of like looking at the score. I don't get it on my DirecTV, so I did watch it. One good ending. It was actually a pretty terrific ending in the Minnesota-Nebraska game. It was 10-10 game.
Thank you for the ending because the game was terrible.
All right, was it the best? Was it the catch of the year though?
Yes.
Already, like, will that be the catch of the year?
It's going to be hard to top that catch.
I'm looking for the man's name. And I'm pardon me.
Dragging a foot in the end zone inches before his other foot steps out.
But the other, it's not even that. Because
It's an optical illusion.
It is, because dudes drag foots all the time just before the other foot is out, but not when his other foot is 3 feet away from the foot that drags. Like, dude was absolutely wide-legged. I mean, you looked at it at first glance and you said, there is no way dude got his foot in. And the foot that was trailing in the end zone did tap down a split second before. Daniel Jackson is the young man's name. Before that wide foot came. I mean, JJ, by everything, you looked at it and said, there's no way that was a catch. What's the guy doing? And that's catch of the year. And when you consider situation, 4th down 10-3, game on the line, like last minute and a half, 2 minutes.
It's going to be hard to top that.
It's going to be hard to top
already.
If you missed it, then Nebraska had the ball. They were driving to set up a game-winning field goal through an interception. Minnesota came down, and lefty kicker, a guy named Dragan Kisic, hits a 47-yarder. Ball game. Gus Johnson loses his mind on Fox. It's good! It's good! And Nebraska fan is bumming because they are allergic to winning.
Nebraska will never be back.
Ooh, that is
Never.
quite the statement. And you say that why?
Championship support, mid-level performance.
So you think
all
they will
the
never
time.
be back because they lose Matt Rule's first game?
Yes.
Wow. What does back mean?
They think that should be a championship program.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 30 years ago.
It was 30
Kids do
years.
not think Nebraska like that.
So they will never get back. I think within 5 years they will be contending for a playoff. They will be a playoff team. How about that? Within 5 years they're a playoff team. First of all, the playoff goes to 12.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a league that's going to get
You're going to
multi-bids.
get 6 Big Ten teams and 6 SEC teams in a 12-team playoff.
And they're going to find their way to be
Make
one
your
of the
Super
6.
League already.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You say that why? Because nobody wants to go to Nebraska? Because the shine's off? Because it doesn't mean
Shine's been
anything?
off for a long time.
I think the shine's been off Nebraska for a while, except for Nebraska. Now, I got to believe when you go there, it's impressive. I've never been there. Okay, I've never been to a game there. I got to believe when you go there and see the support for everything they do. 92,000 for a freaking college volleyball game is insane. And God bless them. I'm not telling you it's wrong. I just think it's wonderful. I got to believe it's impressive. But the shine's off because it's like, what's there? Right? You're a kid from pick your place. I mean, pick it anywhere but. You're a Colorado guy. They're right next door. That's a big rivalry. Is Nebraska a deal?
A deal meaning like
Like,
would you choose
are
Nebraska
they
over
a
CU?
big deal? Is that a big brand in college football?
Yeah, it's regionally, it's got an interesting draw. Kansas City has a ton of Nebraska fans. You have the smaller towns in Iowa and Des Moines even.
So are they the
Nebraska's
brand
a
in the
thing.
Midwest? In that part of the Midwest, are they the big brand still in football?
Still, there's more competition now for sure,
Well,
especially
sure.
with KU and K-State being better. But they spent a long time. I know a lot
KU's
of,
had 1 year of decency in football.
that's all it takes for them. Those people up in Lawrence love that. So I don't know. The people I grew up with still love Nebraska. They remember the good old days. I still think it's a thing in the Midwest.
Okay. All right. I go back to, gosh, it's got to be 96 when Bobby Newcomb was, and I know I told this story a few weeks ago, when Bobby Newcomb was making that decision when he got offered by Nebraska. They were still Nebraska. That was 1996. It's 26 years ago, 27 years ago. They were still Nebraska for a little while. It's probably been, 20 years? Right? Eric Crouch won the Heisman probably right around 99, 98, 99.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Somewhere in there. They were still relevant then. To JJ's point, they haven't been relevant. They flat out, there's no argument that you can make that they've been nationally relevant.
That is true.
And so what is back? Anyway, the game was fantastic. I don't know if Utah's that good or Florida's that bad.
The answer is Utah. What they have done since they left the Mountain West Conference in football is amazing.
It is amazing.
And it just frustrates you to no end that the reality of the situation is what is keeping so many college athletic programs down is television money.
24-11. It doesn't sound as dominant as it was. They dominated Florida. If I'm a Florida fan, I'm pissed. Like honestly, I am. First of all, Nate Johnson, the third string quarterback at Utah, is dynamic. Did you see the touchdown run in the first half? The acceleration, it was just 27 yards, but it was fantastic. Their first play of the season, Bryson Barnes, who was in for Cam Rising. Remember yesterday we said Cam Rising, their quarterback, wasn't playing. Bryson Barnes hits money, M-O-N-E-Y, as in cash, hits Money Parks for a 70-yard touchdown catch and run. And they were off and running. They dominated Florida. Florida looked undisciplined. They looked sloppy. They looked unready. This is coming off of a bowl loss where they got beat by Oregon State 35-3. 29 guys didn't play in that game because of whether it was the portal or opt-outs or whatever it was. JJ, if I'm a Florida fan, I'm like, what the hell's going on? They looked horrible.
Yeah, and all the news was Utah's starting quarterback isn't playing. Didn't matter. That team is fantastic. And you get an offense like that, and your quarterback transfers from Wisconsin. It's not where you go to ignite your offense. And Florida's quarterback transferred from Wisconsin.
Well, Graham Mertz, the Wisconsin transfer, was like, 31 of 44, 333 yards. I mean, his numbers aren't horrible, but if you have eyes and you watch it, you realize, well, God, that's somewhat deceptive. It's like, well, Diego Pavia's numbers weren't bad last week, but right, the Gators, I was disgusted, and I'm not a Gator fan. Just the amount of penalties, the amount of just undisciplined catching. Herb Street was really big on this, right? It led to a touchdown, a turnover, and a touchdown. Catching a punt going backwards at the 4-yard line, setting up your offense in a hole, then throwing the interception, and looking at it and going, what the hell just happened? I don't know. I think Utah's good. I don't know that are they national? Are they playoff good?
They can be.
No.
I just watched that run. He smoked those
The
dudes.
acceleration where he just turned the corner on the left side and just found holes. And
Oh, that was something. And he gets through 6 dudes to get over the line. Like that was a beast run.
yeah, and he's a freshman. That was a terrific run. We had college football, or at least we had college football last night. I think the good was the end of the Nebraska game, right? Getting a little screaming Gus Johnson at you.
Oh, Nebraska. Can't ever get out of your own way.
And I know there's some of you who are Nebraska fans year round. We're open for business today at 505-246-0610. That's how to get here. Area code 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. On the Twitter, _JJ Buck, and on the Facebook, the OD in the AM. You can watch the show there. Adrian's producing on ProView Networks, Comcast Channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico, and on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM. When we get back, we got a ton of NFL to do, and how do you score 64 points in a high school football game and lose? That done happened last night. What a game out at Community Stadium. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, where you're home for Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, refractive lens exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
I'm just going to tell you, we have seen some wacky, crazy football. But how do you feel as a quarterback? You go home that night, you threw for 477 yards and 8 touchdowns, and you got beat. James, that was like that game I saw Ronnie Daniels score 7 touchdowns, and they got beat that when La Cueva got beat by Monsanto that day.
You are asking your coach, hey, coach, can I play defense next week?
Anybody play defense next week? Anybody? How about that?
79 fantasy points.
Is that you just added it up?
Yeah.
Did you get bonuses at each 100 mark too?
No bonuses.
Oh, what if you get a bonus at 300?
Then you made more than 79.
Yeah.
Yeah, no bonuses, 4 points per touchdown. That was a...
Oh, and he lost.
That is something, man.
Well, how about Latavius Morris?
That was Latavius, sorry.
He was the dude that threw for 482 and 6 and ran for another 180 and scored?
Yeah, just 24 points on the ground like nothing.
All right. Brandon Olivas, 477 through the air and 8 touchdowns. I mean to tell you, if you were there, I want to hear from you. I almost went out to that, JJ. It's like, I'm going to, no, I kind of want to watch high school football, or I want to watch college football tonight. And I stayed home and I didn't go. What? I mean, wow.
67 points for the other quarterback.
I used to, a few years back, I wanted to do, can we have a high school fantasy football league?
That would be something.
I mean, why not, right?
Right. I mean, when you can get 79 points from your quarterback, that'd be a really interesting game to play.
It'd be old school going back to the paper and pulling the right. There's no app. There's no site that's going to keep track of it. It's going to be like we used to do it back in the day.
Yeah, you got to fax in your score by 1 p.m.
Exactly right. All right, 505-246-0610. If you were there, I want to hear from you. I just, insane. If you're just joining us, big news this morning, the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, will now include Stanford and California. Atlantic Coast, 2 teams that sit on the Pacific Ocean. They voted this morning, and they will grow to 18 full-time members, 17 football members. Notre Dame doesn't play football in that league. And Stanford, Cal, and SMU. Here's a big reason why this happened. This is seen as kind of a buffer against the ACC's current media rights deal. ESPN's got the right to renegotiate the league's contract if membership falls below 15. And 7 ACC schools have been openly talking about leaving. If Clemson and or Florida State leave, they get to 16. They've got this media rights deal through 2036. And I know the majority of these schools want to keep this together and right?
Yeah.
So next up, what happens, right? Oregon State, Washington State are the only members left in the Pac-12. And there's no soft landing spot for them. They've got interest from both the Mountain West and the AAC. They've explored trying to rebuild the Pac-12. That means taking teams from those 2 leagues. The Pac-12's grant of rights does not exist anymore. Okay, so time is ticking for those two to finalize plans. They got a few weeks left. CBS is reporting that Oregon State's preference is to rebuild the Pac-12, but they only got 2 remaining schools, and it's going to be really difficult to rebuild the Pac-12. So something's going to have to happen now. So now, I know it's a holiday weekend, but Commissioner Narvaez, you're on the clock. Garnett Stokes, you're on the clock to save the Mountain West and build the Mountain West. And this is now, New Mexico fan, this is where you start to get nervous, right?
You have to be nervous at this point in time because there's so much uncertainty, and you think you have a good deal, but $1 million right now can change a whole lot of people's minds. And it's you're dealing with it. It's frustrating, but you just got to do your best to find a place where you continue to thrive with what you have. And that's really all you can do right now. You're the Mountain West, you're the American Athletic Conference, you're these other conferences, because that gap is there. If you want to play the same game, then you got to realize, hey, our $4 million TV deal somehow has to work amongst these.
Well, it's got to get bigger. It's just got to get bigger. That's where Fox and CBS have to step up.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it kind of does.
It doesn't.
Why?
Because they got $70 million, and you're going to get to $8 million.
Well, who's got $70 million though?
SEC, Big Ten.
Yeah, but Washington State and Oregon State don't. Like now, they just got to find a spot, and they don't have that anymore. So we'll watch it because that's the next piece here. That's the next piece. All right, when we come back, NFL stuff. One wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, might not be ready for week 1. Another has set a week 1 deadline for a new deal, and another pass catcher got a historic deal. We are 6 days away from the National Football League. Who's getting paid? Who wants to get paid? And who may not play? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal, your home for Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Voted to admit Stanford, Cal, and SMU. 2 teams left in the pack. It's the pack pair. What would you call it? Pack 2? I mean, peace out. You put up, what do you call it now? It's just the pack pair, the pack 2?
The deuce.
Yeah. I mean, they got nowhere to go. Anyway, that happened this morning, so we'll watch what goes on next because the Mountain West is up on the clock now, I think. All right. Big news with some big players. First off, Cooper Kupp. The Rams receiver had that hamstring injury, was back at practice, looked like he was on track, ready to play. Hamstrings linger. Hamstring is lingering with him. Setback yesterday for Cooper Kupp and his return from hamstring injury. Day-to-day may not be available for week 1. Suffered the injury August 1. Came back to practice, thought he'd be ready. Now, not so sure. I'm not going to play big deal, little deal, or no deal. This is a big freaking deal.
It's a huge deal. He is their offense.
Him and Kelly Stafford's husband.
Little Cooper Kupp.
What?
Is the offense.
Little Cooper Kupp is the offense, yeah.
Because he's the one dude that Matthew Stafford can throw to all the time, and he's going to make the plays. And he was the one reason that you'd have a spark of hope for the Rams. And that is going to linger this season.
Another pass catcher got paid yesterday, record amount, TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson. Yeah, Vikings signed a historic deal for tight ends. 4-year contract extension will pay him at least $66 million, up to $68.5. It's a reset in the tight end market. The average annual value of the deal is $17.1 million. Hawkinson will make $42.5 guaranteed, highest for a tight end, both of those per year in guaranteed history of the NFL. This guy's not the best tight end in the NFL. He's one of them, but he's not Travis Kelce. He's not Mark Andrews. Those guys had to be both looking at it going, all right, so we love tight ends, evidently. We can't pay a running back $10 million, but tight ends can get 17. Mm-hmm. That's the market today. It's harder to find a tight end, I guess. Is that the deal? It's more of a weapon. Like, I think I understand. Well, I know I understand it, but I don't understand it because to me, I'm not devaluing any position. Running back gets the ball 20-something times a game. Tight end, I need him to block. I understand the value of a tight end. And teams who have a good tight end have a really, really, really big advantage. But, man, what a difference in that market.
And they gave up a second and third and 2 fourth-round picks to acquire him from Detroit last year to Minnesota.
Yep.
Top 5 tight end in the game, making the most money in the game. Perked the interest of Travis Kelce, but he's never going to be the highest paid tight end in the game.
Travis Kelce? because of the way they're structured, and because they're capped, and because they just can't pay him unless he goes somewhere else.
Unless he wants to leave his BFF in Patrick Mahomes.
And go to the Rams, play for Kelly Stafford's husband.
Opportunity.
Yeah. You can always do that. All right, so that's who's maybe not playing. That's who is getting paid. What about who might sit out? Mike Evans has said, and now we haven't heard this, at least I hadn't. He's the receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He wants a new deal. Put out a release through his agency yesterday, that he wants the next phase to be with an organization who wants him to help win a Super Bowl, and that there is a week 1 deadline for a new deal. Quote, "We have informed the Buccaneers organization that we will discontinue contract discussions as of September 9, 2023. Final year of a 5-year deal that's paid him $82.5 million. He signed it in 2018. So this year he's got a base salary of $13 million. He got a $1.5 million roster bonus. It always amazes me too. When you get to the end of these deals, guys get front loaded. And you can tell the narrative however you want. Well, he's only making $13 million this year. Hold on, dude. You got all your money up front. Like, you got your money. Now, if you want to tell me my contract's expiring and I want to re-up my deal and let's go, we can have that conversation. But I always struggle when a guy, and who is this recently? We just played this game with somebody else.
Zach Martin?
I think that's right, Zach Martin. Where dude's got a ton of money up front, right? They got a bunch of guaranteed money up front, and they knew the back end of their deal was, they weren't going to be the highest paid guy in the league. But the average of their contract was beyond fair when they got it. And now it's not good enough. Is he somebody that you need to extend? He's good. Is he, $82.5 million good?
He's doing this because Tampa Bay's not good.
They're horrible.
I kind of wonder if he had a deal, somewhere spoken word agreement where he said, all right, we'll renegotiate for the last year and, we'll take care of you. And then here we are, and it didn't happen. Kind of feels like the Harden deal a little bit.
You think so?
Don't know why, but the guy's been in Tampa Bay for a long time. You feel like he's probably got a kind of relationship where he could talk to ownership and management. But for him to do a hard deadline like this a week away from the season, that's surprising.
His agency, quote, "We've been working on extending Mike's career with the Bucs for over a year, and we want the fans to know this is not a tactic, and the ball is in the owner's court. That said, we're giving the Bucs until the start of regular season to make him a Buck for life. And if that cannot happen, 100% of Mike's focus will be on football and his future and where he can continue to make an impact," end quote. 4-time Pro Bowler, 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's good.
9 straight 1,000-yard seasons is real good.
No, he's really, really good. He is, how old is he? 30 years old. I don't know. Is he a piece that gets traded at the trade deadline?
He's a piece that's pushing for move me now or pay me.
Yeah.
And this, to me, definitely Phil's planned out. It was, 100%. All right, you give us a bunch of money, we'll be happy playing on a mediocre team. Or if you don't want to extend me, then trade me.
So I go back to it. What's it worth? What's he put him in a category? So he's not Justin Jefferson. He's not A.J. Brown. He's not Devontae Adams. Right? Do we agree with that? Cooper Kupp is probably in that, if he can stay healthy, in that ilk. Is he next tier? Is he third tier?
I think Mike Evans right now is a wide receiver that you wouldn't want to overextend. He is it's DeAndre Hopkins. It's these guys that have been really good, but you're on the other side of 30.
Mm-hmm.
You still have enough juice to be a wide receiver one. And if you're and you're trying to think, and he said he wants to go to a contender.
Yeah.
Okay, just think of playoff teams.
Well, okay.
Someone moving a second, third round pick for him and then paying him?
So in that ilk, where is he a one? Is he a one with the Jets and better than Garrett Wilson? Is he a one with the Bills better than Stephon Diggs? Is he one with the Dolphins better than Tyreek Hill? I think no, and no. Is he a one with the Bengals better than Jamar Chase? No. Is he a one with the Cowboys better than CeeDee Lamb? I don't believe so.
I think that's where we're getting close, though.
Where?
With CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, but I still don't think so. Is he one with the Eagles better than A.J. Brown?
No.
Is he? I'm going through your contenders.
It's not about being a one. For my get, it's pay me or trade me to a team that's going to the playoffs.
But you said, he still thinks he's a one. I don't know that I think he is.
He goes in there opposite someone like that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And that's why I could see the Bills saying, all right, we hit early October with the trade deadline around Thanksgiving, and Stephon Diggs would get the ball less, and he'd be way more pissed off. But a team like the Bills saying, all right, we want you to play on the opposite Stephon Diggs.
1B.
Or, Kansas City's always adding.
See, that's the one. He'd be a one on Kansas City.
Yeah. Kansas City's always they're always looking. They never have enough. I totally could see that happening. Pick your team in the North that's the NFC North that's competing. Would the Bears like him?
I think anyone in the North
fits
would like
anywhere.
him. Yeah.
He fits anywhere. Maybe not Seattle, but he fits almost anywhere.
Man, that would be something if he was in Seattle. I think he actually would fit quite nicely in there.
What about if New Orleans is going and Michael Thomas doesn't have this rebound that Michael Thomas thinks he's going to have for the last 3 years, and you put him opposite Chris Olave? There's anywhere, right? So I think this is playing out where it's going to be a trade deadline thing, and he moves in October. I don't think they're going to pay him. Why would they right now? Why would they pay him that kind of money when they're this bad?
That's why they haven't, and they're not going to. And so you get to this business point where you say, all right, you don't want to extend me, you don't want to keep me here.
Knock yourself out.
And let's move on.
Yeah, and I think that's where that's going to go. All right. Again, in breaking news this morning, the ACC, no surprise, voted this morning to invite Stanford, Cal, and SMU. So there are 2 teams left in the pack. What happens now? And now, again, all eyes turn to the Mountain West and the AAC. And where's Washington State and Oregon State going to go? And it's a big deal. This is now the trickle down. Then now it's where it's going to affect you. And we can get into that at 505-246-0610. When we come back, Matthew Stafford's wife, Kelly. Is it kind of an apology? She said it's like the worst thing I've ever done. She started a little bit of a bleep storm this week with a podcast saying that her hubby can't relate to these young kids, that all they do is stare at their phones. What she had to say about what she had to say next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, every night, football.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
AM 610, the sports animal.
Text line's open, 505-246-0610. Says JJ Buck, championship level support, mid-level results. Sounds like you in a basketball. Okay. That's fine. Probably right over the last bunch of years. Yeah, that's what it was last year. Championship level support, mid-level results last year. I think that's right. Then they're hoping to get better. 505-246-0610. All right. A lot of noise. Noise. Is that if you said noise that is news, would that be noise? Noise? No, I didn't know which word to use. Noise.
Noise.
Noise. A lot of noise that was news coming out of L.A. this week. Matthew Stafford's wife. By the way, do you like the name of her podcast, The Morning After with Kelly Stafford? I kind of do. I mean, it's actually
that's clever.
It's
I'll give her
actually pretty.
credit.
It's
That's
pretty
funny.
good, right?
Yeah. That's good.
So she's got a podcast, The Morning After, with Kelly Stafford, and it hit mainstream news, and it made a lot of mainstream noise this week when she talked about the difficulty that her husband, 35-year-old Matthew Stafford, one of only 3 people on the Rams roster over 30, was having relating with the younger teammates, guys in their 20s. And she went into, guys are on their phone, and Matthew's trying, and he's like, "What? They call me sir, and what am I, their dad?" And like we said at the time, and you've heard it a million times since, if your wife's talking for you, if you hear your wife or your mom, it's probably not good. So she sat down, did a one-on-one interview with Local 4's Christy McDonald in Detroit yesterday, and here's part of what she had to say.
That was the worst thing I've probably done when it comes to with him. I spoke on a topic that I think it's relatable to the fact that it's hard to relate to someone who is 10 years younger than you.
And that's what was written actually about it. It was a very relatable thing.
And I do think that's entirely true, but I'm not in an NFL locker room. I'm not spending every day with these teammates. Obviously there's relationships. He spends more time with them than he does with me during the season. Mm-hmm. That was tough. I say all the time, even on my podcast, probably not the best if your wife's name's in the media when it comes to, if it's talking about sports. Yeah. And I failed pretty bad last week, but we're going to move forward. Hopefully those guys, and I know those guys know Matthew and don't read into it because, as we know, media can stir things up. But I put my foot in my mouth pretty good last week.
I mean, you gave them the freaking potion and the stick to stir it with.
I think people are taking this way too far.
I agree with that.
Like,
I agree with
sometimes you need a little kick in the rear to get things moving. Maybe this was a kick in the rear for Matthew Stafford to go, maybe I should stop complaining to my wife about everything and work on this locker room.
See, I don't know, man. I think, I don't know.
Because this
you
is
talk
like
to your wife about stuff at work?
Yeah, but this of the stuff that's out there, this is, if this kills the locker room, they were doomed.
I agree. I 100% agree with that.
There's been a lot of stuff that's said by wives or significant others that are a lot more cringy than, they're just struggling to communicate right now.
I agree with that too.
And yet this is where it becomes a problem is we want to talk about this for an entire week.
Well, it's a dude's wife came out and brought up a problem that wasn't there, or at least wasn't outwardly there. I don't think this is for him to stop going home and talking to his wife, or maybe he will because his wife can't keep it, it to them. Right? I mean, you talk to your wife about stuff, you expect it to be between you and your wife.
You're
don't you?
super frustrated if you're Matthew Stafford.
Right. I mean,
but of the things to be frustrated about, communication, a lot of people can work on it.
All right. I'm going to disagree with you on shouldn't talk to. I talk to my significant other about stuff that's I know. I mean, I got to believe both of you guys. If you're frustrated at work or something in life, you talk to her, you vent. That's what relationships are for. And you know that it's staying there. She's not going onto her podcast and putting it out to the world, right? So I don't think he needs to stop talking to his wife unless
well, right now we're acting like it's the worst thing that's happened to him. So
she's the one who said it's the worst thing I've done. Yeah. She's the one who said it. You didn't say it. I didn't say it. It's not great. It's not great. You don't need your wife going out and telling the world what your issue is with other people. Is it the worst thing ever? No, but it's not good, dude. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for anybody, and it didn't look good for him. That if that's in fact your
more
issue,
of a trust thing then.
Well, between her and him, and between him and his teammates, and to your point, can this be the impetus? Can this be the conduit? Can this open the door? And now all of a sudden he goes in, his guys, whatever, man. I was sorry, and now it gets better. Yeah, it absolutely can. And maybe it brings that team together, and Sean McVay's got to do something about it. But it was out there. I mean, to say it's nothing, I think, would be inaccurate. Did the media blow this up? This is the kind of stuff that everybody loves talking about because almost everybody can relate to. right?
I mean, the coach and GM came out and made comments, so
Yeah.
it's a little more than nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it's nothing. JJ, I agree with you that we've made way too big of a deal of it, we being the world, right? I mean, is this the kind of, if this rips their locker room apart, I 100% agree with you. They weren't going to be any good anyway.
Yeah, no, JJ is totally right on that.
But to say, dude's got to stop talking to his wife. No, man, that's what.
Okay, I misspoke on that, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
Like,
that's all I'm saying.
I think it's more frustrating of how are you addressing that beforehand?
Yeah,
and it was I guess the Facebook stuff, trying to print it out. So you're just trying to be proactive.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a challenge of a team that doesn't know who they are, more so than Matthew Stafford can't connect with people.
I think it's quite emblematic of that. No, I think you're right. And did we, we as a world, is it that big of a deal? No, it's probably not that damn big of a deal. But, all right, Aaron Rodgers is a big deal. And he's dealt with the young guys pretty well, it seems like. Championship or bust. And why he... here's something. Is this too big of a deal? The damn scene on Hard Knocks with the guy, Jihad Ward? Jihad Ward and him are having a war of words, and I don't think Jihad Ward's got a chance to win this. One guy's calling the other a liar. It's the opening drive on a 95.9 of FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. You're home for Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every...
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, as you're waking up or getting started this morning, a little bit of breaking news this AM. The reports are North Carolina State was the flip vote in the ACC. The ACC, that would be Atlantic Coast Conference, has voted to invite Cal, Stanford, and SMU. The Atlantic Coast Conference will now stretch to the Pacific Coast. It'll go all the way to the Bay Area from Florida and from Virginia and that Duke and Carolina and Stanford and Cal, and it all makes sense. So next up, now what? And it's up to the Mountain West to, I hope, go out and raise the TV deal and figure out how to stay together and add Oregon State and Washington State. TV deal will go up regardless because the West TV market area is very, very important to all the networks. And with Oregon State and Washington State, it'll go up more. The American, I know that their commissioner, Mike Oresco, has been very vocal about wanting to add Oregon State, Washington State, whatever else. But I know there's also pushback from some of their ADs and presidents about adding them. This isn't a no-brainer. Oresco can want it all he wants, but he works for the commissioners. JJ, there's not everybody in the American. See, let's be very clear now. This is where the gap in money is going to come. The ACC can somewhat afford to fly teams across the country with their television deals.
Yep.
When we're going to be talking about whatever this PAC or Mountain PAC or PAC-2 or as I got on the email line that I missed the obvious one, it says, this is from AC. Good morning, Jeff. You're missing the perfect name, 2-PAC. Thank you. He says, I know you're a doppelganger for Mick Cronin, but watching Nebraska play Jeff Grammer's a ringer for Matt Rule. Just my 2 cents. That's pretty good. But whatever's left of the 2-PAC, I don't know that there's an appetite for the money that's in the American for teams to fly from Tampa to Pullman.
No. That ain't cheap and that ain't easy.
And I don't know. That's why there's pushback in the American. So we'll watch where that goes. But that's the next step. It's you're up now. And it's up to the Mountain West. Global football tomorrow. They are over on News Radio KKOB, 5:00 kickoff at Texas A&M. Home opener is next week, a week from Saturday, out at University Stadium. They will play Tennessee Tech. The Golden Eagles got beat by Furman last night, did Tennessee Tech, 45-10. The Paladins pumped Tennessee Tech. And so that's the Tennessee Tech team that'll be coming in here next week. I know a lot of you have been, well, what are they all about? Well, they got beat by a ranked Furman team in FCS yesterday.
So we know what they're about.
We're going to learn more and more about it. All right, what's Aaron Rodgers about? So this is so interesting watching this whole Aaron Rodgers thing. And I you haven't watched Hard Knocks, but DC, how did you feel about Aaron Rodgers going before Hard Knocks? Were you an Aaron Rodgers guy, or were you like, this guy's just, whatever? What was your impression of him?
That's an interesting question because the whole thing with Denver, I kind of soured on him over the last few years.
Okay.
But all in all, I've liked him throughout his career. I don't mind kind of the alternative lifestyle that he's moving towards. But he seems like a good guy, and he's got his issues. But as a player, I think he's fine.
Well, he's a confident guy who does what he can because he can do what he can, right? He's incredibly accomplished, very good quarterback. Only one ring, which will be the knock on him. Took a lot of hits over the vaccine issue and the semantics with which he fooled a lot of people. He did.
He did. He knew what he was doing.
The darkness retreat, all that. All right. Super Bowl or bust for him. He said yesterday that the Jets have a legitimate chance to win the Super Bowl. Quote, obviously there are a lot of expectations. A lot of people are going to be pulling for us to fall flat. A lot of people are in our corner too. That's a good thing. Do you think a lot of people are pulling them? Probably, right? There's still the people who don't like him. I'm already sick of the Jets. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, well, it's a Hard Knocks. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's New York.
Yep.
Yes, yes, and yes.
All right. You saw the clip on Hard Knocks with Jihad Ward. Jihad Ward was number 55 of the Giants. He's the one who came through, two-handed, push to the chest. Rodgers got in his face. Show some respect, man. I don't know who you are, man. I don't know who the bleep you are. I never heard of you. I never heard of you, bro. Never, like that whole thing. So Jihad Ward, how did you feel Jihad Ward was? I mean, there's no winning in that, right? He's on Hard Knocks. They're telling the Jets story. He wasn't going to come out looking anything but not good, right?
Yeah.
He's pissed. And he's pissed. And they said it was all about the hit that Randall Cobb leveled on one of the Giants, and it was Bobby McCain, put Bobby McCain in concussion protocol. The Giants felt that the Jets were laughing at him. The Jets, when you look, and look, you could see they were laughing in the huddle. They were laughing. Not necessarily that they put a guy out, but it's like, dude, you hit someone? Like, what is it? They were laughing at the hit. They were. Jihad, why am I forgetting his name? Jihad Ward said, man, I'm not looking like the chump on this, man. He said, quote, everybody's going to get pissed off at that. The whole team's pissed off. You know what I'm saying? It's preseason, all that stuff, and you're going to do some reaction like that. It's cool, though. That's how they roll. I think we play them soon. That's how it is. But see, the thing is, they're going to entertain. They're going to show his part. HBO, whatever stuff is going on, Hard Knocks. They're going to show his part. They weren't even in the whole scenario of what really went down. They're going to show his side of the story. It's all about Aaron Rodgers. At the end of the day, they sign him. It is what it is. They're going to show his part and make me look like a sucker. But I ain't going for that. He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong.
He's got it.
I mean, everybody didn't know who the hell he should play this into some sort of commercial. Wendy should get a commercial like it's nobody knows about our secret, burger. I don't know, something. There's a marketing scheme.
Discount double check.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
He ain't wrong though. It's all about Rodgers. This is all about the Jets. This ain't about Jihad Ward. You watching Hard Knocks to watch Jihad Ward?
Nope.
No, but there's a lot of people that looked up clips because of that.
100%.
Now they are, maybe.
I don't know. Was that the best thing he ever did?
It
Took
very well
5
may.
steps and pushed Aaron Rodgers and said, I never heard of you, bro.
You're right, though. There's a marketing campaign.
Don't you think?
For sure.
There's some, overlooked something or, underappreciated something or, the other side of this. There's something in there. There's got it.
There is something there.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. Jay, I know you want to talk about the college realignment stuff. Good morning, Jay. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you all this morning?
Life's good. What's happening?
Nothing. So in the first hour, you all mentioned something about Nebraska football, and you basically said they've been largely irrelevant since 2002, 2003, whenever. So my question is, and this is going to dovetail into something else here, why do you think that is?
Why? Because they've been an under 500 team. They've been buried in their conference. I mean, what has the national buzz about Nebraska been? I mean, and they just haven't been very good. It's like any other program that's been not very good. I could give you, former powers that weren't very good. That when you go dormant for better part of 2 decades, you become relatively nationally irrelevant.
Right, and usually, I subscribe to this point of if you can't get the recruits, and coaching plays a role in that. If you just make bad coaching hires, it's going to make you largely irrelevant over time. But if you just can't get recruits, then it's going to be hard to be good.
That's correct.
X's and O's, Willies and Joes.
Right.
So in that time, and going into the Big Ten, Nebraska's recruiting footprint changed significantly, where they were getting kids from Texas, because when you're in the Big 12, you get
you go down
at least guaranteed games in the state, right? So where that comes out now is you have Oregon State and Washington State with an offer to go to the Mountain West or the AAC. And if you look at both of those rosters, they have a lot of kids from California.
Yeah. Yep.
not only do you have a lot of kids from California in your athletic department, but you get a lot of kids in your student body from
That's
the
right.
state of California.
100%.
A lot of alumni that leave Pullman and Corvallis to go and work in Southern and Northern California.
So you're saying the Mountain West is the play for them?
I think the Mountain West is a play for them, and I think if they were to go to the AAC for just a couple of $1 million, and it sounds great,
That's interesting.
what you end up doing is you end up losing.
It's a really good. I was wondering where you were going with this, Jay. That's a really good tie-in, and I appreciate that. Jay, thanks
Thank
for
you.
that. No,
Thank
that's
you.
good. So what he's not. I didn't think of it in these terms, but he's right. You know why did Nebraska fall off the cliff? Well, they stopped being able to recruit Texas as heavily because they don't play in Texas, and so their recruiting footprint changed. If you look at Washington State and Oregon State's roster, there's going to be minimum 25 to 30 kids from California on each roster, and you've got San Diego State, San Jose State, and Fresno State in California. Look, from what their options are, as opposed to going now, will they get Texas kids to go to Washington State and Oregon State if they go play UTSA and North Texas? And I don't know. It's a lot further away geographically.
Could you get a couple? But it's no longer about your recruiting footprint. That doesn't matter.
But he's saying, look at Nebraska. I mean, so you don't think it matters at all?
Not with what's transpired with the transfer portal and the way the game is played over the last few years.
Yeah,
the Nebraska situation was different because it happened when this wasn't a thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would argue that Washington State and Oregon State rely heavily on California. Now, would they lose California kids if they don't go to California? I don't know that that's right. I don't know that they would. But being able to go in there with three conference foes in California, San Diego State, Fresno State, San Jose State. I mean, I don't know. Would that be beneficial to keeping them who they are? It's something to think of. Now, I think your point's right. The money's going to be the factor.
Fan base perspective.
Yep.
Is what no one has thought about in this. Is you've absolutely killed fan bases, but as long as it's on TV, you don't need fans in the stands. That's like the memo from
one of the funnest places to
Big
go to
Ten and SEC right now.
Yeah. We talked about stadiums and where do you want to go see a game? I mean, one of the most underrated places, one of the most fun places to go is Pullman. Martin Stadium's great. It's a great atmosphere up there. I loved going to games in Pullman. Loved it. Did they kill it? I don't know. All right, we got a sweet deal for you coming up. And when we come back, Team USA got a little bit of a push at the FIBA World Cup. Maybe you wouldn't expect this, how that ended up. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night football.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone.
Olivas going to the corner of the end zone. Nice grab there by Josh Jackson, and that's going to be a touchdown, El Dorado.
Their strong point, their focal point, and their
Nelson will keep it himself for some room on the right side. Nelson's on his feet and he is in. It's a touchdown for Noah Nelson.
Sliding, they slid on it going out there. Linebacker, they're going for the big gutter play. How did he hold on to that, Ethan Olguin? My goodness, a 32-yard bomb. He's going to launch this one long, and it's a little bit short, but what a pull down. Fabian Trujillo. Unbelievable, this man.
Dyer, back to pass. Pressure, gets out of it nicely. On the sideline, got an open man. It's LeBron. Cheeto made one miss. Cuts back up the middle. Another cut to the right. And he's all the way down at the 10-yard line.
Is that Sweet Pete Jr.?
Right?
That's Sweet Pete Jr. right
What
there.
a move there by Cheeto Lambrera.
2nd and 1. Give it to Gallus. Once again, he evades one tackle, evades two. Breaking into the open. There's a block. Bye-bye. And he breaks the last tackle to get through. Jack Gallus with the touchdown.
Happy with his defense so far. Vukovic, and that ball is ripped up. Bernalillo will have this ball at the 1-yard line.
That's the extra yards for Cheeto. Dyer quickly, it's batted into the air, and it is picked off. Rams football as Rio Rancho finally gets the turnover they need as it's tipped into the waiting arms of Vincente Tafoya. Ryan Brown had punched it into the air and allowed Tafoya to come away with it. Let's see if Nelson can make it pay.
Back.
No! LaCueva gets it back on another tip drill. It falls into the waiting arms of the senior Luke Ryder.
Kick is up. It will bounce into the arms of Daniel Garcia, and Garcia explodes through the middle. He dodges Castro, and Garcia will run that one back from about the 17-yard line. Call that one an 83-yard touchdown rush.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better.
A little breaking news this morning. ACC, Atlantic Coast Conference, voted this morning they are admitting, or at least inviting, and then will admit, Stanford, Cal, and SMU. So not this year, but next year. So now the Mountain West is on the clock. It's really, next move is, all right, what's going to happen with Washington State and Oregon State? And the Mountain West and the AAC are hovering and want that to happen. Both of those leagues want those schools to join. The 2-pack is what we're that was a good one. It's
solid.
100% solid. It was AC. He did that. Or you can call it the 2-pack if you prefer. You're good with that. Nick is going to be with us. There's good golf to talk about. Victor Hovland winning the FedEx Cup last weekend, and then the decision for Brooks Koepka. Really excited to talk to Nick coming up at 9 o'clock, the director of golf at San Diego Golf Club, about the decision to bring Brooks Koepka onto the Ryder Cup team. And I know how Nick feels about the PGA and Live Divide, so we'll talk to him about that. All right, while you were sleeping, the FIBA World Cup is going on in Manila. This is basketball. And Team USA survived. They played Montenegro, a country of 600,000 people. And the USA won 85-73. It was way closer than even the score indicates. Anthony Edwards led the way with 17 points. Are you watching any of this? Does this register for you at all? On the because this is probably the team that's going to be the Olympic team next year. And it's a big deal around the world, the World Cup of basketball.
it's one right now for the United States. If they lose,
then people
will pay attention.
100%.
But right now, it's just Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Brendan Ingram, maybe some noise about
Austin
who wants to be
Reeves.
the star. Austin Reeves, Laker fans loving what they're seeing out of their new $64 million man heading in next season. It's storylines, it's there. It's early in the morning broadcast, so you're not getting the full attention. And we know if Team USA loses, then that's the breaking news.
That's when people will care. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the only time people are going to really care is if they lose. I've seen highlights. I'm like, okay, it's just like, looks like our dude's just beating the hell out of other dudes. It'll get a little more intense now as you ratchet up and get out of pool play. But that happened overnight and enjoy it. Other stuff that was non-football yesterday. This is a playoff type series that's going on at Dodger Stadium this weekend. The two best teams in the National League, and you might argue the two best teams in baseball, Dodgers and Braves, are going at each other. Ronald Acuna Jr. last night hit a home run. In fact, he hit a grand slam. He became the first player in Major League Baseball history to hit 30 home runs and have at least 60 stolen bases. He is the 30-60 club. Well, I was having this conversation. My mom's going to the Dodger game tonight. It's like, okay, don't call me.
Awesome.
It is. No, I think it is. It's just, don't call me tomorrow. I'm going to the Dodger game, and we got tickets, and I'm like, cool. She's like, well, who do you think is going to be the MVP, Mookie or Freddie? And I'm like, I think it's going to be Acuna. She's like, what? Yeah, watch that dude. Why do you think that? Why? Dude's having a historical season. I know Mookie Betts is making a push late. Who's your MVP in the National League?
Acuna 1 and Mookie Betts 2.
Yeah, and Freddie Freeman 3. Yeah, and Mookie's having a hell of a year now.
Mookie is the best offensive player since the All-Star break.
That includes Shohei Ohtani. They're the best team in
the
baseball.
National League.
Well, but it includes Shohei Ohtani. He is the best offensive player since the All-Star break, and what he's doing is historic. They're the best team in baseball, and he's the best player on that team. Most stolen bases before this, do you know, for a player who had 30 or more home runs, do you know, nobody's ever had 60 stolen bases and hit 30 home runs. Do you know who and or what the number would be? The highest amount of stolen bases previous to this for a player who hit 30 home runs or more?
Is it Ricky Henderson?
It's not. I don't know if he ever hit 30.
I thought he was 30 club. Jose Canseco? Wasn't he 40-40 at one point?
He might have been 40-40. The most stolen bases for a guy who's hit over 30 before this was Barry Bonds in 1990 with the Pirates. Skinny Barry Bonds.
Thin Barry.
Yeah, small head Barry. He hit 33 home runs that year, had 52 stolen bases. Eric Davis with the Reds in 87, 32 home runs, 50 stolen bases. And Mike Trout in 2012 hit 30 home runs and 49 stolen bases. But nobody's ever gone 30-60, which is pretty amazing. And it's the first time in history that anyone has done that. And I do. I think he is your MVP. I think that's where this is going to end up. And I think it's pretty amazing watching this. By the way, he got married yesterday morning.
Pretty good day.
That story was awesome, too.
How's your Thursday? I don't know, man. I woke up in the morning, I got married, and then I hit a grand slam and did something nobody in the history of baseball's ever done. I don't know. How was your day? I mean, I had a pretty good day, too, yesterday. Don't get me wrong.
And it was a real wedding. They put it together in like 36 hours.
It was a real wedding. Maria, his longtime girlfriend, is who he married. And then he went out, hit a grand slam, and made Major League Baseball history. I mean, the only way it would have been better is if he went over to Cello Grill or had them cater his wedding. And that's the only way. And he could have had a gyro. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
What's going on? It's Gyro Week, I heard. Somebody told me that. Is that real?
Yeah, it's actually National Euro Day.
Like Euro Day? It's got its own day today?
Yes.
All right, Mackenzie's here from Cello Grill. We got a sweet deal. Look, these go so dang fast. So set your alarm on your phone. 9 o'clock, go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the sweet deal icon. $50 worth of Cello Grill for just $25, and you can try their new Gyro burrito. Yeah. Or is that, those are two different accents. Like one's Greek, one's Spanish. Like Gyro burrito? How do you say it? How do you say Gyro?
Everyone says it a little differently.
How do you say
I usually
it?
just say Euro.
Euro? All right.
Yeah.
How do you say Euro? Do you like gyros? Do you eat them? How do you say it?
Gyro.
Gyro. I don't know. They're pretty damn good, though. Tell me about the burrito.
Yeah, so our burrito has a tortilla. And
That's how burritos are, yeah.
Yeah, rice, beans, gyro meat, and then you can top it with green chili or salsa. And today we were doing a special on them. You buy one and you get one free.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I go by Cello Grill for lunch today,
Yeah.
that's lunch today. 50% off desserts all day, every day when you order on the Cello Grill app and let them cater your next event. The number's 505-881-2229. What do you, how do you celebrate National Euro Day other than 2 for 1? I mean, how many will you have today?
I'll probably, I don't know. They're pretty big, so I
They are
usually
big.
only one, but.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you
Yeah.
use, what's the sauce you put on it? That like white yogurty sauce? What's it called?
The maso kiar.
I knew you. I felt bad for a second where I was just putting you on the spot.
Oh.
All right, tell people where you are because you're conveniently located right in the middle of town.
Yeah, so we're on Cutler and San Mateo.
So it basically, when you get off the freeway at San Mateo, it's literally right there on that first corner, right there on the north side of the freeway, right where it used to be the old Boston Market. For some people still think that, right?
Yeah, just by that Old Navy.
Right by the Old Navy.
Yeah.
It's a great spot. Make it part of your regular lunch and dinner routine. Authentic Persian cuisine, affordable prices, right there in the heart of Albuquerque on San Mateo and Cutler. And it is Happy Euro Day.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. It's great to see you. Get part of our sweet deal. 9 o'clock, go to our website, 505. No, that's our phone number. Our website is sportschannelabq.com. Click on the sweet deal icon. $50 worth of Cello Grill for just 25 tala, courtesy of Mackenzie and your good friends here at 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night football.
Join Folds of Honor.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an